Hello, YouTube. This is Birdo Prey 5 again. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of my dog barking. At what? Apparently nothing at all. Nothing is on the screen. Hello, Thomas. You can hear me. Great. I decided to just skip with that whole starting soon.
Thomas, you can hear me.
Oh, and
Great.
I should have put the volume
I decided
down.
to just skip
with that whole starting soon and just get right on into it. I've revamped my ending credits, so for those who stick around, you might. You're not going to enjoy it. It's not that there's any giant surprise. It just makes my life easier because I've incorporated remembering to ask people to like, subscribe, comment, and do all those other things into the end credits. So I just have to push that button and not have to worry about it. So yeah, I made a little change, so it's kind of like the intro credits and the end credits all in one. I had some people complaining that my 45 seconds of intro credits was much too long before content began. So I will take some suggestions to heart, and we'll go from there. Yes, I should put a jacket on. It is quite cold, as you can see from the background, which is in no way simulated. I am in a snowy forest tonight. This was actually one of the pictures my sister took up at the resort she was at that you probably heard her talk about yesterday if you were on the show. It's a shame because I'm kind of covering there you go. You see a beautiful little stream coming right down the middle of the picture there, but of course I'm in the way. Luke says gives the live long and prosper sign, and Luke, I was never great at doing it, and of course it's even harder to do when you have an active hologram trying to erase your hand. But live long and prosper. Anti-Tracker, welcome to the stream, and he says poop is not funny. No disagreement from me, Anti-Tracker. You're the one with the hashtag #MePoo movement. Perhaps you see a subtle difference between poo and poop, but yeah, you're not going to argue from me. I mean, I've gotten used to your avatar, and those Ryan Johnson poop barrages we got treated to last night. But yeah, I was never a person that was particularly fond of fecal matter. But it takes all kinds, right? I will fight for your right to enjoy poop, Anti-Tracker. Josh Street says, Bondbird, do we need to send the guys to pick you up and get you out of the snow? No, Josh Street, I am here hiding from the government. Don't tell them where I am. I won't tell you which forest it is, so I just need to wait for a couple of things to blow over, and I'll be able to get back to my home or the ship, whatever we're calling it these days. Luke says, "Hail, Bird Father." Okay. Thomas types out comment, but on one line. So you know what? It's an improvement. Luke asked, did Bird of Prey 5 watch Bird Box? That is the first question. Did Bird of Prey 5 watch Birdman? I believe the answer to both questions is no. I have no idea what Bird Box or Birdman are, so sorry. Thomas Potts asks Anti-Tracker if he might be done reading when his stream starts. Well, Thomas, I'm going to tell you something right now. This stream is not going to go a minute past 8:30. I am not staying up late. This is not going to be an epic stream. I did surpass Anti-Tracker's stream yesterday. Anti-Tracker, he streamed for 3 hours and 46 minutes. I was not counting at my stream, but this morning when all was said and done, and I looked at the numbers, my stream after Anti-Tracker was 3 hours and 50 minutes and 49 seconds, 4 minutes longer than Anti-Tracker's stream yesterday. So, yeah, it was a solid beat. But Anti-Tracker could take the record. He could take the record tonight. Will he beat the 4-hour mark? I don't know. There's some room, but I got the flag right now, Anti-Tracker. The longest stream of 2019 between me and you. It's me. Thomas. No, that Luke says holograms are evil. Some are, Luke. Yes, some are. Josh Tree says, are you hunting for fun, sport, or revenge? Yes, I only hunt the most dangerous game. Man. Luke says TNG told him. Yeah, well, there were a lot of evil holograms in TNG. Apparently, yeah, ship, make a hologram capable of defeating Data, and they make a hologram that can literally destroy the entire ship and kill hundreds of innocent men, women, and children. And all it takes is Geordi's override code, because Geordi should have that power to destroy the entire ship by hologram. Makes a lot of sense to me. Anti-Tracker says, sadly, I am working today, but I will have you on as much as I can. Well, thank you, Anti-Tracker. I'd like to think I make the workday go faster. Glad to hear you are not fond of fecal matter. Well, yes, I'm not, so. Thomas Pot says, Bird, did you read my message on Discord about the GoFundMe? Thomas, I don't think I've been on Discord today. Did you direct message it to me? I'll open Discord, but if I didn't direct message it to me, I'm not sure I'll see it. Luke says, I told you to pay your taxes, Bird. Always pay your taxes. That's the only way not to get caught. Yet my taxes get paid. That's not the issue. Luke says, anti-tracker, anti-tractor. Anti-tracker says, not tonight, I won't. So no 4-hour epic stream tonight. Well, if people keep dishing out those super chats, you might have no option. Josh Street says, the anti-tracker Bird is throwing down the gauntlet. So we need a 12-hour stream tonight. Yeah, see, the thing about anti-tracker is that he keeps going if you pay him. I mean, while I'm very, very happy to have gotten that donation yesterday, I do not make you guys pay me to keep streaming. I just keep going till I get to the end of the comments. Though I will tell you tonight, if I haven't read your comment by 8:30, you are going to be just out of luck tonight, guys. I'm telling you now. It might even be earlier, but 8:30 is the latest. In fact, Alexa, set alarm for 8:30 p.m.
Alarm set for 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, that's it. She starts beeping. I'm gonna give a little Qapla and hit my new sign off. That's where we are. Thomas Potts says, Anti-Tracker better stream for 8 hours tonight. Thomas says to Anti-Tracker, boo. The only way I stream for that long is if you guys are super chatting the F out of it. Well, they might. Thomas says he did direct message me. Okay, Thomas. Yes, I have Discord open. The GoFundMe, the border wall money will be refunded. Oh, have they canceled it? Wait, I am getting breaking news. I have to get confirmation of that, Thomas. Let's see what the latest update is on the GoFundMe. $20,359,627 raised in 26 days. They are still accepting donations. We the people will build the wall. Let's see. There is a video update. Update January 11th. That was yesterday, 2019. We are building the wall. You can still donate right now on this GoFundMe. The media is falsely reporting that all money is being refunded and it's over. They are wrong in capital letters. That means you, Thomas. We are building the wall and you can still donate or opt in if you donated before January 11th. To support the plan. If you want to support Build the Wall, build the border wall, opt in, click here. If you want to support and build the border wall, opt in, click here. Well, I like those choices. 8 days before Christmas, I started this GoFundMe campaign because I was tired of watching the U.S. government's inability to secure our southern border. Like most Americans, I see this porous southern border as a national security threat, and I refuse to allow our broken political system to leave my family and my country vulnerable to attack. The plan of action was simple and straightforward: to raise money to construct a wall on our southern border. We have raised over $20 million from 325,000 plus donors, and we are only just getting started. I have been literally overwhelmed and inspired with the outpouring of support, calls, and emails from American citizens who support our efforts to build the wall. I got some hate as well, but it was very easy to ignore it with all the positive feedback I was getting. I immediately sought out and consulted with some of our country's leading professionals in law, politics, national security, construction, and finance. This team has spent countless hours over the holidays reviewing all issues pertaining to the construction of a southern border wall. Unanimously, we have come to the conclusion that the federal government won't be able to accept our donation anytime soon. We are better equipped than our government to use the donated funds to build an actual wall on the southern border. Our highly experienced team is highly confident that we can complete significant segments of the wall in less time and for far less money than the federal government, while meeting or exceeding all required regulatory, engineering, and environmental specifications. Our team strongly believes that we can complete our segment of the wall for less than half of the government estimated cost on a per mile basis. That doesn't seem difficult. If you want to support the border wall, opt in, click here. To show the government how we the people can get this done, we have formed a Section 501c4 nonprofit Florida corporation named We Build the Wall Inc. to receive the GoFundMe contributions. Our website can be found at www.webuildthewall.us. The following individuals serve on our advisory board and construction, finance, or audit committees, operations, administrations, PR, media, and ongoing fundraising. And website link, bunch of names, generals, ex-Navy SEALs, industrialists, former Secretary of State, law enforcement, immigrations expert, Fox News contributor, former Colorado congressman, and many more. If you support the wall, click here. We have made significant progress in less than a month. We've begun extensive diligence. Okay. We've already taken action on identifying the most densely crossed areas of the border, soliciting affected landowners along the southern border, studying the most feasible solutions based on terrain, barrier styles, environmental impact, and efficiency. I assume that's efficiency. Efficacy. I don't know if it's a typo or just a word I don't know. Ascending the willingness of the border landowners to provide no or low-cost easements on their property for wall construction. If the Democrats won't provide funding that the American people voted for in 2016, then the people will. When Americans see us completing real miles of beautiful wall, we will know what we will raise the many billions we need to finally secure the entire border. I am 100% confident, 100% committed to secure our southern border and protect Americans. And this goes on and on and on some more. And there's a place to send check donations. Yes, the media is lying. Let's see what happens if you click on this link. Submit a request. By submitting this request, I am confirming that I want it to go to build the wall. Okay, well, that's something.
Created the viral campaign that raised over $20 million for the southern border wall. And it's only possible because of your donation.
I think that's probably the same thing. Well, you know, while we're on the topic of the southern border wall, I wasn't sure about this, but I think maybe I'll play this short clip, because this kind of says it all from the source.
Yesterday we had 450 apprehensions, Mr. President. Out of that, 133.
Yesterday alone, you had
450. Out of that, 133 from countries other than the Central American countries and Mexico. India, we apprehended some Pakistanis, we had some folks from Romania, on and on and
How
on.
many Pakistanis yesterday?
2 yesterday.
Chief, can I get you to make that point? Because it's not just Central America and Mexico. People from all over the world
Yes, sir.
exploit the vulnerabilities in our border.
Perhaps you could tell them exactly.
How many different countries?
So far this sector has apprehended folks from 41 different countries. Just yesterday we apprehended 133 people from countries other than Central America and Mexico.
Just this sector, they apprehended 133 people in one day from countries other than Mexico and South and Central America. So that means everywhere else in the world, people who have really no business being south of the border, except that they know it's our weakest point and the easiest way to come in. Because even them, presumably, if they could get in easier, they would just go to Canada. And because, I mean, that is technically a weaker border, but Canada actually does some background checks and won't let just anybody into their country. So think about that. Think about that. It would be easier to come in through Canada, but they can't fly to Canada or come in through the Canadian maritime, because for whatever reason, Canada probably would not let them in. So the next best place for them to go is Mexico and come on up north. But I digress. Let's let this astute Border Patrol agent keep talking.
That includes individuals from India, Pakistan, China, Romania, Ecuador, Nicaragua, on and on and on. And so I know we keep talking about the family units and unaccompanied children, and that makes up about typically about 60-70%. We've seen a change over the last couple of weeks where that number is less than 50% of the apprehensions we make here in South Texas. So South Texas continues to lead the country in apprehensions as well as marijuana seizures in between the ports of entry. And so CBP and DHS are committed to both our border security mission as well as our humanitarian mission. Mr. President, Senators, we couldn't do it without your support. We really appreciate you coming down here. It means an awful lot to the men and women of DHS, CBP, the Border Patrol, our local law enforcement community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So they apprehended people from the Middle East, and they do it all the time. You know, everybody says, well, where are they from? We're not talking about only Mexico. All over the world they come in because it's a weak spot. They make it strong, but the laws have to be strong, and we need security. We need the kind of backup that you want. And they've asked, by the way, we have lists of things. What they need more than anything is the barrier, the wall, call it whatever you want. Whether it's steel or concrete, you don't care. We need a barrier. And they have done a fantastic job. Never so many apprehensions ever in our history, but you know, it could be a lot easier. It could be a lot easier for you. And you could spread your people out to a lot different areas, which would also be very helpful.
And Mr. President, we have 55 miles of fencing in this sector. We started a job in 2006. We need to finish that job. We've got the personnel, we need the technology, we need the resources, we need the infrastructure in order to control this border and manage it. Part of our area is covered with some fencing on our east side. That accounts for about 6% of our traffic. Where we have no fencing, over 90% of our traffic occurs in those areas.
Okay, folks, I mean, you don't have to say any more. That's it. That's it. And we never even spoke before this, right? I never told you to say that.
No, sir.
I should have, except he said it perfectly, all right? Look, this is common sense. They need a barrier, they need a wall, If you don't have it, it's going to be nothing but hard work and grueling problems. And by the way, and death. And death. A lot of death.
So, yeah. 90% of the people coming across, maybe more, are coming across where there's no wall, where there's no fence. Big, big surprise, right? But we keep hearing the wall won't work, right? The wall, anybody can get over the wall. Well, they're not going over it very much where there is one now. Everybody's going where there's no wall. So, I know. I don't want to talk about the wall. We all know. Everybody knows the wall will be useful. They just, this was never about the wall. This was about politics. This was about Donald Trump. And it was never about the wall. Democrats were for a wall up until Trump won. So, okay, we'll move on to bigger and better things. Like, did anybody try to convince me that 2 is a proper prime number yet? Because I still don't think it is. Now I've got to go back up to the comments, because of course I created a nice 5 or 10 minute backlog. That sounds disgusting for some reason. Excuse me. That damn anti-tracker has everything sounding dirty. Anti-tracker says to me to say, Alexa, cancel alarm.
8:30 p.m. alarm canceled.
And she canceled it. Alexa, set alarm for 8:30 p.m.
Alarm set for 8:30 p.m.
Bastards. Anti-tracker. Thomas saying to Anti-tracker, if someone gave you $63, would you play all your super chats? I bet he would do it. Yeah, he says sure. Josh Street says, Bird, you want to go to prison for tax evasion versus going for your other business? Haven't you ever seen Goodfellas, Josh Street? When certain people go to prison, it's not like prison for common folk. But I'm not going to prison in either case, so doesn't matter. Thomas Potts, fake news again. Yep. Thomas is the mainstream media. Josh Street said CNN was saying it was over. Well, Josh Street, what do you think the problem with that sentence is? I'll give you a hint. It's the first 3 letters. You were listening to CNN. Thomas, hey, someone told me I don't watch CNN. So you were just passing along fake news. You didn't. This is why you gotta check your sources. Somebody passes you some news, you gotta verify it. You can't just be somebody's passing news along. That's how, that's how things change. We all used to play the telephone game. They'd line us up in a line and somebody would whisper something into one person's ear. Like they'd say, Santa comes at midnight. And by the other end, it's like, I killed your father with a spoon. And they're like, well, what happened? And everybody says, I don't know. I said what they told me. Meanwhile, there was one asshole in the whole thing that changed the story completely. And then that person went on to work for CNN. Luke asks me, do you love cool space projects, Bird? I don't remember if I talked to you about Copenhagen suborditize. I like space projects, I suppose. Like Hubble Space Telescope, like a project like that. The Space Shuttle, the International Space Station. That type of stuff I like. I can't say I've heard of the Copenhagen suborbital suborbital AS. Can't say I've heard of it. Is it a space elevator? Because the tech isn't there for a space elevator if it is. Not yet. Thomas is the anti-tracker. I did correctly report the breaking news yesterday that Bird will Pray 5 caught up with the comments. That is true, Thomas. You did witness those events. You did accurately report them. Qapla, Derek McManus, evening. All the wall building are we. Derek, it just kind of came up. Darth, Qapla, Darth. He's again calling Mojo Jojo. I am not Mojo Jojo Darth. Alex, finally. A prime number has two factors, one and itself. 2 satisfies that. 1 does not because 1, not 2 factors. Only 1. Therefore, it falls under the end test. You're welcome. No, Alex, as much as I respect you and that voice of yours, we could easily define a prime number as a number that has a factor besides 1 and 2 or greater than 2. There's no logical reason that we have to say that 1 can't be a prime number but 2 can. I mean, that is a completely arbitrary definition that we made up. There's just no serious basis for why 2 is prime and 1 isn't. 1 has 1 in itself are both factors. Why can't 1 be, I mean, you're still multiplying 2 numbers, 1 times 1. So there's 2 different 1s in that. It's not that it's just 1, right? Luke says, I don't know. Are they even permitted to consider that? It's not like a frontier, it's a private place. Well, it seemed to me like they were going to find private individuals who owned ranches or land on the border, because there are quite a few farms and ranches that go right up to the Mexican border. And I would imagine more than a few are willing to have the wall built on their private property. And in that case, hey, it's not going to be a perfect wall like a government-built wall that could just be one solid piece. But, I mean, if some of these ranches are thousands and thousands of acres, if you get a few of them together, you can build, a 5 or 10 mile stretch of wall. And, it makes a serious dent in the number of people coming. And those ranch owners are probably benefiting if people aren't crossing their property, causing property damage, cutting fences, to be honest, going for water and food meant for their livestock, and just not, living and crossing land that they're not supposed to be on. I imagine it's a benefit to everyone. Luke says to Alex, welcome. Alex says to Luke, hello. Darth says, how's everyone? Alex says, so many Mexicans on GoFundMe. Who knew they would pay that way? Luke posted some emojis. Derek is saying hello. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Derek says Bird of Prey 5 is building a wall on the southern border. Darth, sound familiar? Darth says to Derek, lol, yep. Luke is laughing. Thomas, Bird does have a lot of cement mixers. I get it. Now that's what Anti-Tracker says. I got it. And oh wait, Anti-Tracker can solve the immigration problem. This is gonna be good. Derek says Captain Foley would stop them in Canada land. Darth says Anti-Tracker, let's build a wall around STD Studios. Okay, Anti-Tracker says I can do it with only 10% of the money Trump wanted. So $500 million you could do it with. Okay. Derek says unleash singing lore reloaded. Anti-Tracker. Anti-Tracker says there's no need to build a solid wall. Just set up a sound system across the border and play Mega Chat number 5 on a loop. Oh man. Could you imagine that? You've been on a trek across Central America. You're starving, you're thirsty, you're carrying your children, you're headed for America, looking for jobs, low-paid jobs, but you know they're better than what you left in your home country. And as you get closer to the border on the horizon, you see these huge television screens, and you see some man on them. You can't make out what he looks like. You get closer and you get closer, and you start to hear an unnatural rumbling. You can't make it out. Something inside you is saying El Diablo, and you want to run in the other direction, but you can't. You've come too far, so you keep going, and you keep going, and you come around a mountain, and that's when all the sound hits you, and you see in front of you in a 40 or 50 foot wide jumbotron Mega Chat number 5 and Lore Reloaded singing about midochlorians, what does he call them? Midochlorides or whatever, and talking about being a virgin, singing it, and finally it's too much, and you collapse. You collapse just 100 or 200 yards from the border. Your kids fall off of you. They're crying, they're holding their ears. You're trying to tell them it'll be okay, but you can't even speak. And you're on your back, you feel like a helpless turtle that can't turn over. And you're wishing You're wishing for death because the music will not stop. If you open your eyes and you just see the video, it's so bright. It's brighter than the sun. But even though it's the middle of night, the stars are gone. You're begging for mercy. A few hours later, you see headlights coming in the distance. It is a well-meaning, liberal outreach program. It's called Bose Noise Canceling Headsets for Migrants .org, and they come out and they fit you and your children with Bose noise canceling headsets, and you get to hear the sweet sound of silence for the first time in hours. And after a few minutes, you pull yourself together and you stand up and you look at your children. You pull one of them up and he's okay. But the little one, they didn't come in time. The little one is singing to Lore, and he's subscribing to Lore Reloaded's channel. And he's saying he wants to send some super chats his way. And the mother leaves the boy at the border because he knows he no longer has a future in the United States. This is very, very sad time. Oh, it's heartbreaking. And this was all thanks to anti-trackers' war crime of a high-tech sonic barrier to protect the border. He wanted to save money, so he tortures poor migrants just looking for jobs. When had Trump got the money he needed, he would have had a much more fair, what's that word? Ethical. A much more ethical barrier. Just a wall or a fence. They would have got to it. They would have said, damn, no way around. Oh well, at least Mexico is better than Honduras or wherever they're from. And they'd go back down to Mexico and assimilate into the population, and maybe someday in the not too distant future follow the actual immigration laws, and eventually they or their children would get to enter the United States legally. But thanks to anti-trackers, stream, the family has been decimated, and And people are going to pay. They're going to be people held accountable for the war crime. There'll be a new Geneva Convention. And, yeah. It's going to be all kinds of hell to be paid. All kinds of hell. Speaking of a war crime.
Yeah, couple of good old boys, never meaning no harm. Just something, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law would allow. Turd is the word. Turd. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure how the song goes. That's the best I could get. I probably shouldn't have said that much. Yeah.
Man, that is some damn near perfect timing, Anti-Tracker, I have to say. Barely a few seconds to spare. Okay. Back to the comments. 30 minutes to go. Can I do it? Thomas Pop says a poop wall won't stand. Well, you know, Thomas, in the dry desert, a poop wall might stand. Anti-Trekker says then 500 feet, put up a screen with Mega Chap 1 playing on a loop. Well, you see, I already figured that part out without even having to read it. Yep. So. Oh man, a lot of comments. I'm behind. Okay, let's keep going. Derek says flush them back. Derek. Thomas Pod says let's build a Zindi weapon and cut out a big canyon on the border. And then it would fill with ocean. It might do it, and at least it'd be a sea barrier. Not that it's hard to cross 17-mile wide ocean or whatever it was. 1 mile was. And I feel like it was 17 miles wide. That's a strange number, but I think that's what it was. The Zindi weapon. Alex says, these numbers are still tiny. Europe is taking in higher numbers of Syrian refugees alone, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't either. Thomas says, well, Europe is closer to Syria. Well, closer than we are, but not closer than Mexico is to us. But Mexico's not going through a civil war like Syria is. Luke says, problem is there's a difference between actual refugee and economic migrant. Yes, that little fact is true and often ignored. Derek says, send them back. These people need to rebuild their own countries and society. Running away is not a solution. Derek, I tend to agree. I think we should help them to build their own country stronger. I think it'd be better for them and better for us in the long run. But I don't make the decisions. Thomas says, nothing wrong with legal migration. Absolutely. Alex says, see my first comment, Bird of Prey 5. I think I read it already, Alex. Luke says, exactly, send them back and help them make their own countries great again so we can do the same. Thomas says, why do you have a problem with number 2? No, anti-tracker. I'm not going to say to her to cancel the alarm again or set an alarm for 3 a.m. There's a bear behind you. Look out. Damn it. And I believed you. Country club prison. Well, it wasn't so much a country club prison, but you got to bring in your own food. You had the guards in your pocket. You didn't have the same restrictions as the man. There's a lot of shadowing, a lot of flashing going on that side. It was better before. You got the guards in your pocket. You don't have the same restrictions as your petty criminals do, your rapists, your murderers. When you're in the family takes care of you, even if you're in prison. I'm not canceling any alarms, regardless of who says to say it. Derek, no, Thomas, it's a Gruffalo. Alex is true. This is why we have the internet and search engines to double check everything. God damn it. Alex says a prime number has 2 factors. 1 and itself. 2 satisfies that. 1 doesn't because 1 not 2 factors. Yes, I read this already. I read that. Did I go back up in the chat? I don't think so. But I did read that, Alex, and I just simply disagree. While I understand that is the definition that people push, it's an arbitrary definition. There's no reason it couldn't be defined to be numbers 3 and greater, or also include 1. Because to me, 1 satisfies it just as much as 2 does. And I'm just saying, if you got scooped up by an alien, right? Because this is the theory. I mean, if an alien abducts you, and you're, they put a collar on you and they chain you to the inside of the UFO, spaceship, whatever. And, you're not sure if they know that you're an intelligent creature because they've kind of given you like some hay and straw to like sleep on, like you're some type of farm animal perhaps, and you need to convey that you're intelligent. What would you do? You would tap out the first few prime numbers and hope they understood that. They'd say, wow, this farm animal knows his prime numbers. We can't eat him. We should bring him back home. Now, if you start with 2 and then do 3 and then do 5, they might think this is an idiot. I don't know what this is. But if you started with 3 or you started with 1, I think you have a much better chance I'd say, educated guess, 86.5% chance less of being eaten by the alien if you throw 1 or 3 as the first prime number. If you start with 2, you're greatly increasing your chances of being consumed as food. So, listen, that's just the way it is. You don't have to like it, but I'm telling you that that's how it is. Anti-Tracker tells Alex, no point in repeating. He will read it in 20 minutes. Then he will read what you just put in 20 minutes after that. Alex says, should I just keep repeating it until Bird of Prey sees it? I saw it the first time, Alex. And that's the second time I responded. And I am now... You're putting it in a third time. Okay, yes, I've seen it 3 times now. I understand your opinion, but it's wrong. Darth is asking Anti-Tracker how he is. Alex is laughing. Anti-Tracker says he's working. See you, Alex. He's reading it from your first post. Anti-Tracker, lol, lies. You're here, unsub. Darth is unsubbing from Anti-Tracker. So now he's going to read it later. Luke says to me to check your DMs on Discord. Do you realize what the Doctor and Dr. Alex stands for? Yes, it stands for Doctor. I'm checking my Discord. Luke has sent me the Copenhagen suborbitalists. Play the video. Well, Luke, are you assuring me, and there's no way I'm going to see the response, are you assuring me that this video is safe for YouTube? That there's no it's less than 2 minutes long. So okay, I guess that's pretty safe. If it sounds like something, if it sounds like there's something that will cause a copyright strike, I'll just stop it.
We're the world's only manned amateur space program and have flown 5 rockets since 2011. We built them in our workshop in Copenhagen, Denmark, and launched them from our ship on the Baltic Sea. Someday, one of us will climb in our home-built capsule on the Speaker rocket and thunder up over the Kármán line
trap
at 100 kilometers where space begins. Then the capsule will free fall straight back to Earth and land by parachute in the sea. It's all crowdfunded and non-profit, and has only come this far because people all over the world donate money that pay the materials, tools and rent. Therefore, our do-it-yourself spacecraft are built as simple and cheap as possible, avoiding exotic materials and complex production methods. We are around 60 unpaid volunteers.
So it's their own Kerbal space program.
Endless long nights and weekends. Why? Because it's a crazy and incredible idea. Because for amateurs, space is the final frontier, and we are hell-bent to prove that you can get there by sheer willpower and by thinking differently. Or, as Sir Edmund Hillary simply replied when he was asked why he wanted to climb Mount Everest, because it's there.
Sheer willpower and
in space,
millions of dollars, no
at our
doubt.
website, carbsab.com. However little or much, it's your contributions that are making it all happen. Thank you.
It's very cool. I like the idea of a privately funded space program, not even needing, apparently, not even needing government approval to launch. Because like in the United States, as you could say, SpaceX is private company, but they still need a whole bunch of government approvals. If you launch from international waters, I assume you can do it without worrying about things. Man, I see now, this is the problem with watching a YouTube video. You see one, and then there's one that algorithm knows you, and it's making me want to click on this. Japanese foil ball polishing mirror. There's no way that's made out of tin foil. Okay, so you see, already I know this is not something I can do at home. So I'm gonna just stop that there. Oh, while I was here, I pulled up another old picture of me. This is 2003. Just about my birthday, November 2003. I was in Arizona driving around the place for a week and a half on vacation. And this was during the short period of my life where I'd buzzed off all the hair completely. Now I try to keep it around 1/8 of an inch on top. It grows out between 1/2 an inch and 1 inch before I buzz it again. But yeah, for a little bit I was totally clean shaven up there. Too many people wanted to touch the top of my head. I got weirded out by it. Also, when you have absolutely no hair on the top of your head and you like bend over or something and you knock your head into a wall or a desk or a shelf or something, you know, if you have even a little bit of hair, even that 1/8 of an inch, the nerve picks up the fact that something is hitting your hair, and you've got that fraction of a second in which your body actually slows you down from hitting your head at full speed into, you know, the wall or the cabinet or whatever it might be. But when you have literally no hair on your head, you're vulnerable. And man, when you hit your head on something, you hit hard. Because without that hair, even if it's just a little bit, you have zero warning that it's coming. And I'm pretty sure that's why we kept hair on our heads. I think it's an evolutionary advantage to protect your brain from damage. But that's enough biology for today. Today is on math. Okay. I don't know, is he a doctor of mathematics? Alex, are you a doctor of mathematics? Because I've argued with many people in the math community who hold all different types of degrees. I don't buy into this fact that people think math is infallible. It's not infallible. The entire genre of irrational numbers, to me, is kind of proof math is broken. People will tell me that there's more irrational numbers than rational numbers, and they can prove it. And then they go ahead and they prove it. And I'm like, that just proves your math is broken. Your math is broken. Thomas says, is R rider? I have no idea what we're talking about. I'm too far behind. Anti-Tracker says, lol, well, he is English. Alex says, if you want to make up your own definition, that's all well and good. But with our own axioms, you now have bird of prey math, not the math everyone else is using. Alex, I have the math that will make the aliens know that I'm an intelligent creature and not eat me. So that's the only math that I need. Derek says he is bird of prey 5 minutes already. That's true. A bird of prey 5 minute is different than the rest of the world. Darth says, I discovered today that Americans don't use 24 hours clocks as much as we do, and I find that weird, or as you call it, military time. Indeed, Darth, why not reuse the numbers? Why count to 24 when you only have to count to 12? More efficient that way. Plus, you're never quite sure when someone says AM or PM. If they leave it off, they says, I'll be there at 8 o'clock. Well, now you've got a surprise. Are they coming at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.? You don't know. Americans like surprises. It's like a gift. Thomas Potts says, eminent domain, the right of the government or its agent to appropriate private property for public use with the payment of compensation. It seems like you're answering a question, Thomas. I didn't see anyone ask, but maybe someone did and I missed it. Yes, that is the definition of eminent domain. Luke says, and remember in bird of prey 5 math, ND measurements, 1 bird of prey minute is 18 standard minutes. Anti-Tracker is now talking about bird of prey 5 math. If you owe me $100 at 10% interest and the payment was due on the 10th, but it's the 12th, how much do you owe me? Answer, nothing, because you are dead. Very funny. Very funny, Anti-Tracker. But you don't kill somebody who's 2 days late, because then they'll never pay. That's why you'd break a knee or something. You still want them to pay. You've got to be at least 30 days past due before you start making permanent arrangements, shall we say. Darth says, I would add turrets and sensors. When they cross the sensor, they get a warning. Then the alarms start blasting with rubber bullets and tear gas. And that's when that fails, the turrets activate and fire. Wow, Darth. Wow. It's like you would not want to cross your border. That's not a border, Darth. That's Paris. Midichlorians. Yes. Wow, are we still that far behind? Darth asked me, if that fort fails and the ground is electrified and the walls are electric fences and there's more tear gas and tasers, armed personnel with dogs and SWAT armored tanks. Wow, Darth. Why not just put some landmines and forget about it, right? That seems a hell of a lot easier. Not that I'm for landmines, but, I mean, you're going to electrify the border. You're going to put down tanks and all these things. Yeah, no. You just dig a trench, you fill it with water, and you put sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads, and nobody crosses the border. Derek says, Darth, decent patrolling with professional people will be perfectly adequate. Derek, that sounds so boring. Anti-Tracker says it was a very vivid description. Derek says no. Anti-Tracker says that Derek, no, it wouldn't. Anti-Tracker is taking issue with professional people patrolling the border. Darth says to Derek also that it wouldn't. No, Anti-Tracker didn't say it wouldn't. Darth said it wouldn't. I'm sorry, Anti-Tracker. Darth says to Anti-Tracker, I would protect my borders with my well. Oh, my borders very, very well. Ha ha. Alex says I edited the Phantom edit to knock out another 30 seconds or so. So there are no mentions of midichlorians at all. It's prequel perfection. Luke Favark says, yeah, he went overboard with the lore border wall. Thomas says he's going to have nightmares. I'm sorry, Thomas. Luke says it's a wall of horrors. Derek says, oh dear Darth, honestly, patrolling the border, patrolling the building block of military ground operations is very effective combined arms situation. Anti-Tracker says, I am seriously considering taking BOP's description and adding Lore's singing to the background. You're welcome to, Anti-Tracker. You're going to then send it to President Trump as a formal proposal. You have my permission. I'll do my part to protect the country. Alex says to Luke, just finished watching the film. I'm reviewing next the sword fighting series, so it's so good. Maybe Anti-Tracker says maybe have Joshua animate it. Luke says, well, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with midichlorians, only with people who think midichlorians equal the Force. Anti-Tracker says, I see what you did there, Luke. Darth says, to me, also have rows upon rows of floodlights spaced half a foot apart, going up and down from tip to tip. They activate as well. Oh God, I don't know why it happens, but every so often the comments just skip like crazy. Alex says, to me, constructing the world's longest Voigtkampf test. Oh, I have some distant memory of what that is, Alex, but I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. I would Google it, but I'd fall farther behind in the comments. And we've only got a few minutes for me to catch up. Darth says, also, there's 900-foot tall jumbotrons with Anti-Tracker on it, with a hat on the couch, topless. Okay, I don't even want to keep reading that. Darth, they are here now, X over the border, Derek patrolling. Luke says to Derek, patrolling the basis of the border control patrolling the basis of border patrol as well, but the longer the border, the harder it is to set up patrols with enough personnel, hence the fence. It's a deterrent and time. Darth says, then we will be waiting for you with open firings. Luke says, oh, okay. Darth says to me, do you have foot-sized concrete block shoes made? Molds? I don't use concrete shoes, Darth. They're much too heavy. They're not practical. I don't live on the water. And even if I did, that's just Hollywood talk. Nobody uses concrete shoes. Derek says, on a basic level, intercept them, process them rapidly, basic humanitarian needs, reparation, ASAP, within 72 hours, repatriation, ASAP, within 72 hours, with much more publicity as possible as a deterrent. Alex says, it is in fact Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings. Anti-Trigger says, Bird of Prey will likely not ever see this, but I have to step away. Have a great night, guys. Take care, Anti-Tracker. Thomas Potts says, see you soon. Anti-Tracker, catch with you later, man. Have a great day. And enjoy work. And Alexa, stop. Okay, guys, it's 8:30. Comments are at, oh geez, only 8:03. Stop commenting. I'm not going to read any comments that are marked past 8:30. Okay, so this is it. This is the official call, last call. If you got a comment in, if you get to 8:31, a comment is not going to be read on this stream. Okay, Dart says, I'm thinking about going live at Comic-Con this year, but nobody would watch. I'd watch Darth, assuming I was awake and it was at a decent time and I'm not busy. I'd watch. Alex, yes, you did. Loving the hour chat lag. Darth says, I'm sending this out at 1:06 a.m. Let's see how long it takes you to get to it. Viva Vavoom, formerly OG Spock Love. Bears are cute. I saw a bear this past fall in the field next to my house. He looked like, oh hey, human. Then went back to eating berries. Are you sure it was a bear, Vixen, and not just a hairy man? They're hard to tell apart, I'm told. And she says hello. Actually, she says and hi. Luke says math is arbitrary. Says Bird of Prey 5 in 2019. Well, the definitions of certain things in math certainly are arbitrary. Darth says, Vixen, hey there. Vixen, math hurts my migraine. Derek says, hey, yeah, there. Of course, everybody's talking to Vixen now that she's come in. Derek says, math is an exact science. Vixen is talking back to people. Luke says, how about you just realize that aliens don't care if you're sentient or not? Darth tells me I would write down a few things and I would draw the solar system and I would draw the globe as best as I could, and then I would draw an atom and I would write discovery sucks. Yes, that's the best way to convey you are an intelligent creature. Draw the solar system, draw an atom, draw some fundamental geometric shapes, and then finish with Star Trek Discovery sucks. One of those should tip them off. Vixen says, I'd still eat a cow if it knew prime numbers. Ouch. But yeah, I probably would too. It tastes so good. Who cares about math? It's a damning reality you brought up there, Vixen. Derek says, just want to insert their probes. Dart says, Vixen, it can use math, work out the value of itself as burgers. Lol. Vixen is asking Derek, how sexy are the aliens in this scenario? Oof. Darth says, Alex is Donald Ralph Alex, am I right? Luke says, Copenhagen suborbital, and no, you won't be taken down by YouTube, it's safe. That was so long ago, Luke. I am so far behind. Josh Street said to me, Alexa, call... She answered. No, don't call anybody. Cancel. I gotta be careful what I say around you people. Call in a pizza from Domino's for me. As sexy as you want them to be, it's Saturday night here after all. Oh boy. This stream is taking a turn. Luke says, see, Anti-Tracker sends you poop jokes and animation in exchange for your money. They are building a rocket. Vixen says, geez, somebody, it's overcompensating for something. Derek says, lol, not me. Josh Street says, if it's Kerbal Space Program, where are the Kerbals? Well, Europeans are basically Kerbals to Americans, Josh. We don't let them know that, but, I mean, right, they kind of look like leprechauns, so I just assume they're Irish. Darth says, Vixen is, it's a pocket rocket. Okay, you guys can talk about that. Luke, no, it's not millions. It's dozens of thousands of dollars. It's mega cheap. And yes, they need approval each time they launch because, you know, civilian aviation and sea traffic wouldn't be happy. Well, that's why it's international waters, Luke. Screw them. I don't need approval. If I'm going to launch my rocket from the middle of the ocean, I'm going to put out the news that I'm launching. It's for civil aviation folks to make sure they're not in my way. Derek says he's behind now. Spam the comments. Okay, Derek, that's strike one. Strike one, Derek. Luke says, nice pic. I assume you're saying the picture behind me. It's actually one my sister took, but thank you. It is a nice picture. Derek says, who's that handsome chap copying my hairstyle? Oh, is this the picture of me from 2003 you were talking about? Yes, that was me in Sedona, Arizona. And now that I bring it up, we are definitely going to have a Sedona stream one day soon, because Sedona is an amazing place if you've never been there. The saying is, they say God created the Grand Canyon, but he lives in Sedona. And that's interesting because both places are in Arizona. So, yeah. Darth says to me, my hat is made of tinfoil, and so are my pants. Don't you dare talk against tinfoil. My fashion choices are mine and my other personality choices. I wasn't talking down about tinfoil, Darth. I was quite interested in that round tin ball. I'm going to share with you guys a belief I've had. I don't know where I got it. I don't know why I believe it. But I've always had this belief for as long as I can remember. Even as a young person. For some reason, I feel that if, and I don't know how you would even do it, considering atoms aren't smooth, but if we were ever to somehow create a 100% perfectly smooth sphere, a ball, a sphere, that the creation of such a perfect sphere, whether it was, 2 inches in diameter or a foot or 100 feet, whatever the diameter, if we could get it perfectly smooth, it would cause the destruction of the universe itself. I don't know why. I don't know how. But a part of me just knows. So of course I try to make a perfect sphere anytime I have silly putty or clay or anything like that. Not that I think I could, but I just try. Now I hope you guys stopped with making new comments, because it's 8:16 in the comments, and it's 8:40, so I'm still a ways behind. No new comments after 8:30. Remember that. Darth says it's good look. Why don't you take it off again, the hair? Because, like I said, I don't want to hit my head into something without warning. Luke says smashes his head into everything. Vixen says slightly fuzzy heads are nice to touch, just saying. Okay, so you see, women like slightly fuzzy hair. Some women like the complete bald head look too. So I don't know, but some people like what they like, right? But I think most women would like nice, thick, like anti-tracker hair. Right? I mean, maybe not the rest of anti-tracker, but his hair, I think he definitely lucked out there. Luke says Alex is a cosmologist, as far as I can tell. I'd respect him more if he was an astronomer or a astrophysicist. A cosmologist kind of deals with pseudoscience. Just kidding, Alex. I hope you're not a cosmologist. If you are, then I still respect you. But yeah, from what I can tell, cosmology is the study of the origin of the universe, which basically can never be proven or disproved. So it's not really a science. But again, that is by my definition, which I know differs greatly from scientists and mathematicians and those people. Derek says, Darth told baby Dave when I was in the Royal Navy, the differences between me and you is I look good. Vixen to Darth says, does it have a cloaking device? Thomas says, I thought he was a proctologist. Dr. Alex, I assume. Uh, Darth says to Derek, I'm extremely hairy person. Oh, he's an extremely hairy person. And then he says to Vixen, yes, leprechauns turn invisible with fairy poop. Shh, don't tell anyone. It's my secret. Then Vixen deleted a message. Derek says, well, then you will be warm this winter, Darth. Vixen says, Darth Werewolf. Luke says, how to serve man. Beware, it's a cookbook. Perhaps the greatest episode of The Twilight Zone ever. Indeed. I believe I still have it on my DVR from the New Year's Day marathon. Darth says to Vixen, he's just Irish. I guess he's not a werewolf, just Irish. Then to Derek, nothing like the wind at your back hair. Oof. Vixen says to Luke, only anti-alien propaganda spread by the Twilight Zone. Right, the aliens don't want to really eat you. They're your friends. Go with them to their planet. They even have something like baseball. It's also a novel. He's not going to get to these comments. I got to the comments, Thomas. I didn't get to them before 8:30, but I got to them. Americans like surprises. Must love the 7th of December then. Well, it is a day that will live in infamy. Thomas says the government can use eminent domain to build a wall on private property. Well, the government can, but these people building their own wall cannot. They'll have to make a deal with the property owner. Vixen says, damn, Luke, I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up. Thomas says, most Americans don't know or don't care what December 7th is. Probably a true enough statement at this point. Derek says, Luke, there's a new version. A scientist unwraps the human genome and finds a trademark. Oh boy, we're all trademark. Wouldn't that be something? We find out we're all the property of some alien pharmaceutical company, and that the entire human race was only created to test drugs against alien diseases, and that's why there are so many diseases on Earth, because aliens give us diseases to test out drugs for far superior aliens. That, I mean, they think that we're like, to us, you know, we're lab rats to them. They are so much smarter than us. Very depressing. Probably would make a good Twilight Zone episode. Well, better laser beam sharks now than the thing in Aquaman. I haven't seen Aquaman yet. Thomas says, Thomas, a day of infamy, Pearl Harbor, etc. Thomas says, I know what December 7th is. Yes, this group is much smarter than the average group of Americans. I'm sure they all know. Vixen says he still doesn't know I'm here. Maybe I will hear dude secrets. Vixen, I don't tell dude secrets. Not when I know there's a chance that the fairer sex might be around. See, Donald Trump tried to tell dude secrets, and he got caught on tape. And never been the same since for him. Zethon, the topic of this stream was selected to troll me. I don't appreciate it, Joe. No, Zethon, I am totally interested. Try to change my mind. Dr. Alex has tried, but I've rejected his opinion. It was a good one. It was the standard. It was the standard one you would probably tell me. But yeah, I need more than that, Zethon. Thomas Potts. Zethon is a math nerd. For those of you who don't know, it's very easy to get him in a math debate. Like, you tell him pi is exactly 3.14, and he'll probably blow a gasket. Thomas says to Vixen he has 4 minutes to notice you. He says he will stop at 8:30. Yeah, Thomas, I said it, but I really meant I was going to stop reading new comments at 8:30. I didn't want to tell you that because then you guys would have put in a lot of more comments as it got close to 8:30. I was thinking. Darth says, Vixen, I know you're here. Just sit there as a little red light on your forehead. Click. Vixen runs back into her house. Darth, you scared Vixen away, you son of a bitch. Derek says he's falling behind. Spam him. Thanks, Derek. That's strike 2. Vixen says, Thomas, I haven't heard anything yet about men say when women aren't around. Only 2 minutes left. Thomas Potts says yes. Vixen says to Darth Raven, Fluffy is behind you. Derek says, Vixen, apparently men talk about sports and ladies talk about shopping. Zethon says Jesus is going to take him over an hour to catch up. That was at 8:30. It's now 8:50. I'm only 20 minutes behind, Zethon. Oh, and 8:30. So technically, we've only got a few more comments, and I'm not obligated to read them anymore. Vixen says Fluffy is surprisingly scarly with surprising amount of teeth. I'm going to hug him. Oof. Luke says comment hashtag the border wall. Hashtag. Vixen says Darth, Fluffy eats you. Told you so. Darth says 1:31 a.m. You got to it, lol. So that was the official end of what I have to read. Now I will pick and choose a few comments, I guess, to end this stream. Zethon says no, definitions are not arbitrary. Definitions in math are arbitrary. Zethon says no definitions in math are arbitrary. Disagree, Zethon. By definition, the word definition and what it means is indeed arbitrary. Derek says better than a hairy lady. Yes, a hairy man is better than a hairy lady. And a bearded lady, no, that's not good either. December 7th, what's that? Luke doesn't know. Darth says, Vixen, join us on Anti-Tracker Discord. You'll have a great time. Probably would, Vixen. You should go ahead. Luke, Darth tells Luke it was Pearl Harbor. Vixen says she needs an invite, though. The link to the invite is in any one of Anti-Tracker's streams. If you open any of his videos, his YouTube videos, and you go to the description and you expand it, there'll be a link to his Discord. And Darth went ahead and got you the link to his Discord anyway. So thank you, Darth. Zethon. The reason one isn't prime is because prime factorization becomes meaningless if you include it as a prime. It's nonsense, Zethon. You could easily say prime numbers have to be greater than or equal to 3. Or you could say that 1 in itself that if its own number is one of the numbers, that it counts as prime. So that would make 1 and 2 both prime. Thomas says, so remember everyone, next time he gives you a time limit, we can comment a lot. No, Thomas, because there is no obligation to read. I just noticed that there was a small handful of comments left. If there's a ton of comments next time, it's a hard cut. Zethon says arbitrary equals based on random choice or personal whim rather than a reason or system. No definition in math is based on a random choice or personal whim rather than a reason or system. Okay, Zethon. So explain to me how the definition of rhombus is not arbitrary. You've got 30 seconds now. "15 seconds. Are you going to say words are arbitrary? I don't know. Mr. Miles, welcome, Mr. Miles. Just about to sign off. Luke says, congratulations, you made it to the last comments. Zethon says, you are. Okay, good night, everyone. Restart the stream for me. Sure, Mr. Miles. I'm going to say Qapla. I'm going to sign off. Just hit the refresh button. I'll restart the stream just for you. Old buddy, old pal. Thank you guys all for coming by. It's been fun. Oh man, we got 10 people still watching. I do feel a little bad ending with 10 people here. Was there something else I wanted to show? I did the picture. I did the wall. No, I think we're good. I think we're gonna call it a night. Yeah, good night all. To those of you who care, Anti-Tracker should be streaming around 11 p.m. tonight Eastern. Try and stay up for him, or be like me and watch him again in the morning. And Zethon has taken to private messaging me off YouTube because he's still angry about my definition of prime numbers. Okay. It's going to be one of those nights. God damn it, I can't. When he sends a message, I can't hit the button I need to hit. Qapla. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. If you want to visit me, check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. And if you're really crazy, you can send me some money on PayPal. Take care.